company and on
hedge funds and the trends we are likely to see in the new year. So for more on which strategies are working, how investors are deciding which funds to pick, we bring in Patrick McCurdy. He is the head of capital development at Merlin Securities. He provides services to 550 hedge funds. Patrick, welcome to Money Moves. We're very happy to have you with us. Part of your role is consulting with hedge fund managers on their capital requirements. What kind of funds are you seeing the most interest in? What kind of funds are getting the most money so far this year, inflows?
We speak to investors on a daily basis. This year we've spoken to about 50 investors, and what we're hearing, the top three strategies are global macro, global structured credit, and on the equity side, we're hearing a lot of interest in equity long-short managers, but who manage their book with a market-neutral exposure.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the long shorts are getting some new money because they had a really tough year last year.
The hedge funds on our book were down about 3.5% last year.
Which is actually good for long short.
Yeah, it's long short with directional exposures. This year, investors are trying to strip the beta, the market-driven returns, out of their portfolios, and so they're looking for market-neutral managers in the equity space.
Okay. What size funds? If those are the strategies that are seeing the most inflows, we talk a lot about the smaller funds really being in the sweet spot, being able to pack some pretty good returns to investors, but we also know it's hard for them to raise money.
It is. We've seen challenges in the past, but we're seeing investors come down from the multi-billion-dollar hedge fund managers. They're spending a lot of time with sub-billion-dollar funds, and they're doing it because they can get separately managed accounts now with those managers, especially the institutions. And these separately managed accounts provide greater transparency, more liquidity, and better control over their assets. So with these new vehicles, institutions are spending a lot more time in the sub-billion-dollar community.
So do you see any distinction between, let's say, the 100 million to 500 million? Is that one category, and then 500 to a billion, or you just see it differently?
I would say investors have different thresholds and different AUM requirements. But given that the separately managed accounts are a vehicle that are owned by the investor, it enables them to write a larger check size for a smaller manager.
As someone who manages Merlin's investor relationships, what do you see as far as the smaller funds? Because they have to do a lot more due diligence too, right?
The due diligence is, in 2012, we're seeing so much more than what we've seen in the past. In the past, we had qualitative metrics driving the whole business: people, process, philosophy. Now, there are so many more analytical attributions that need to be driven in the performance metrics. So for performance last year, if you were, say, up 10% versus the market up 2%, you need to drill down and say what percentage of that came from long side of the book or the short side of the book, or break down your sectors and say what came from industrial.
Which goes back to your point about transparency.
So much more transparency is required.
Patrick, you have a bird's eye view of the hedge fund business that we do not have. Can you give us characteristics or a characteristic that you see as being capital to a fund's success or not from where you sit?
Well, what's critical for all of our hedge fund managers in achieving their success is truly having a differentiated but repeatable process. And if you can articulate that in a concise way to investors, and if you can prove that with the data through the due diligence process, you're going to be successful.
I know you tend to focus, I've read some of your research, it seems like people, philosophy, and process, and you've said in the past all those things have to be there.
Right, exactly. Those are the qualitative metrics.
Okay, Patrick, we thank you so much. Thanks for coming in.
It was a pleasure.
Patrick McCurdy joining us there from Merlin Securities. He is the head of capital development there. Coming up, we are going to